He invited his ex-wife to his wedding for one reason: to embarrass her in front of everyone who once admired them. In his mind, it was the perfect ending, a public reminder that he had moved on, upgraded, and won. But what actually happened that day would leave the entire room questioning everything they thought they knew about power, love, and loss. 3 years earlier, Maya met Daniel in a fast-paced corporate office in the heart of the city. He was confident, well-connected, and already established. People listened when he spoke. Maya, on the other hand, was building her life from the ground up. She had no safety net, no shortcuts, just discipline and ambition. Daniel noticed her immediately. She was focused, independent, and unlike the others who seemed eager to impress him. And she noticed him too, not just his success, but the attention he gave her. Their connection grew quickly. What started as casual conversations turned into late-night drives across glowing city streets, expensive dinners, and thoughtful gestures. Within a year, they were married. To outsiders, it looked like a perfect match. People said Maya was lucky. They saw the lifestyle, the luxury apartment, the gifts, but they didn't see the quiet exchanges happening behind closed doors. Shortly after the wedding, Daniel suggested that Maya quit her job. "Focus on us," he told her, framing it as love and protection. At first, it felt comforting. She trusted him. But slowly, that comfort began to change. Without her income, without her independence, she started relying on him for everything. And Daniel made sure she never forgot it. Every expense, every decision, every disagreement came with a reminder he was the provider. Arguments became more frequent. What used to feel like partnership began to feel like permission she had to ask for. The balance shifted so gradually that Maya didn't fully realize it until it was too late. Then came the betrayal. She discovered Daniel was seeing someone else, and he wasn't even trying to hide it anymore. When she confronted him, he didn't deny it. He simply said, "I gave you everything," as if that justified everything he had taken. That moment changed her. For the first time, Maya saw her reality clearly. She had comfort, yes, but no control, no voice, no ownership of her own life. So she made a decision that surprised even herself. She left, quietly. No public drama, no desperate attempts to fix what was already broken. She packed a single suitcase and walked away from the life everyone envied. Starting over in the same city wasn't easy. She moved into a small apartment far from the luxury she had known. She took on work again, relearning what it meant to stand on her own. The process was slow, sometimes painful, often lonely, but it was hers. She rebuilt her confidence, her career, and most importantly, her sense of self. Months turned into years, and gradually, everything began to shift. Not overnight, not magically, but steadily. Meanwhile, Daniel moved on quickly. He got engaged again, surrounding himself with people who reinforced his version of events. He told others that Maya couldn't keep up with his lifestyle, that she lacked what it took to stay in his world. And for a while, that story went unchallenged.
Then, one day, Maya received a message from him. It was a wedding invitation. But this wasn't about closure or respect. It was intentional, personal. He wanted her there to witness his new life, to confirm his narrative, to quietly remind her of what she had lost. She didn't respond immediately. She didn't react emotionally either. Instead, she thought about it carefully. Was this an attempt to humiliate her? Yes, but it was also something else, an opportunity. Not for revenge, not for confrontation, but for something far more powerful: presence. On the day of the wedding, the venue was filled with elegance and expectation. Guests mingled, conversations flowed, and Daniel stood confidently at the center of it all, certain of how the day would unfold. Then the doors opened. At first, People noticed the bodyguards, sharp, composed, and out of place for a typical wedding entrance. The room quieted slightly. And then Maya walked in. She wasn't the same woman who had left years ago. She carried herself differently, calm, assured, completely unbothered. Her presence didn't ask for attention, but it commanded it anyway. Conversation stopped. Eyes followed her, and then came the second surprise. Walking beside her was a man many in the room recognized immediately, a powerful, respected figure in the business world. Not just wealthy, but influential. The kind of man Daniel had always tried to impress, the kind of presence that shifts the energy of an entire room. In that moment, everything changed. Daniel's confident smile faded. The narrative he had carefully built began to crack under the weight of reality. This wasn't the broken woman he expected to see. This wasn't someone coming back in regret or weakness. This was someone who had rebuilt herself quietly, completely, and on her own terms. Maya didn't make a scene. She didn't confront him. She didn't need to. Her presence said everything words could not. She wasn't there to prove anything to him. She was there as proof of something bigger, that walking away had not been her loss. The man beside her treated her differently. There was no control, no subtle reminders of dependency, no imbalance, just respect, just partnership, and that contrast was impossible to ignore. Guests who once believed Daniel's version of events began to see things differently. Whispers changed direction, attention shifted. Without raising her voice, without explaining her story, Maya had rewritten it in front of everyone. She didn't stay long. She didn't need to. After a few moments, she turned and walked out the same way she entered, calm, composed, and untouched by the past. And as the doors closed behind her, the silence she left carried more weight than anything said during the entire ceremony. Daniel stood there, no longer the center of admiration, but a man suddenly confronted with the reality he had tried to control. The wedding continued, but something had shifted permanently. In the end, the question wasn't who had more money or who moved on faster. It was simpler than that. Who had freedom? Who had peace? Who had rebuilt their life without needing validation from the past? Maya didn't come back for revenge. She came back as proof that losing everything can sometimes be the beginning of something better. That comfort without respect is just another form of control, and that the most powerful response to being underestimated is growth that speaks for itself. Not all luxury is freedom. Not all struggle is failure. And sometimes the strongest comeback doesn't require an explanation at all.